Hey friends, it's Abigail Luvisi. Welcome back to Judgment Free Zone. We need vulnerability and empathy now more than ever. I hope you are able to find room for more curiosity, self-compassion, and empathy for yourself and others while you're here. I show up so you can too.
There we go. Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be on. I feel like it's
I
been
know.
a minute.
I have to say first, Britt, oh my gosh, congratulations
Oh, thank you.
on wedding and baby. Oh my goodness.
Yes. It was a great weekend. I'm like still so exhausted from it. This house is like an absolute travesty, just trying to get it back in order, but thank you.
Yes, of course.
I know, Britt, you were like made to be a girl mom with your beauty pageant and dancing days and everything.
I know, like I already have her whole life planned out. I told Ryan, I was like, she's gonna do ballet, she's gonna do theater, a little bit of dance mixed in there. And he was like, okay.
I love it.
So,
well,
right.
Welcome everyone.
Yes, welcome everyone. I mentioned a little bit in the beginning, but so this is Community Cup. We do this every Wednesday. It's an opportunity for Hanna and I to connect with our listeners and build community. If you don't know this and you're just tuning in, we have a top 5% global podcast called Untying the Knot. Hanna and I started as strangers on the gram, and we've not only built a podcast together, but we built an amazing friendship. And we started recently kind of bringing on guests, which we have today, Abigail. So if you want to kind of introduce yourself and who you are.
Yeah, so I am Hannah's best friend, Abigail, and she really encouraged me also to start a podcast. So I have a podcast that's top 10%. I'm a life coach, and I am part of the community of the retreat that we had all gone on. And again, my best friend encouraged me to do that. And so we're going to be talking about that, but I do shame work, so shame resiliency and finding your true self and telling your shame shadows to shut up. And so if you don't know about your shame shadows, come follow along. Talk a lot about them and our attachment wounds. And I do groups, and Hanna actually just started one of them.
I just joined.
You did. So really excited.
I'm super excited. I'm so
excited to be here. Thanks for having me, ladies.
Yes, of course. I know. I remember you bringing up how I, encouraged you to go to the retreat last year. I still remember 3 weeks before you applied, I had a dream that you were there. And it was the weirdest thing. I was like a spectator in the skirch. Like I was standing off to the edge just watching, but you were there, and like it was like you were getting the coaching there. And I just remember waking up like, oh my gosh, Abby needs to go. It's crazy. That was like what, a year ago, right? When that
it was in November. Yeah, it was a week before Thanksgiving I went. Literally a week before.
And look where you are now. Like,
I know. I think that's the biggest thing that I don't know what the right word that I want to use, but like it goes to show, because all three of us have truly invested in ourselves, be it through retreats, through going back to school to become life coaches, and etc. It goes to show that we are the social proof that when you take that time to invest in yourself and get out of your comfort zone, incredible things can happen. I mean, Abigail, had you not, listened to that nudge from Hanna and gone on that retreat, or listened to the nudge from Hanna to start a podcast, I mean, you would not be where you are today.
Yeah, I think something Hanna, I feel like I hear a lot from Hanna lately is like kind of like giving, like, because we're best friends, like we give each other permission to do things that we like realize in our heart that we want, but we don't do. You know, I had written on a chalkboard, like a huge chalkboard wall, like 7 years ago, that I was going to be a public speaker and like talk to women. And you know, it's different, but that was already in my heart planted for a really long time. And if Hanna didn't trust herself and do the things that she did, like who knows if I would have been able to do the things that I wanted to too.
Yeah.
So hopefully that makes sense, but it's really
Totally.
cool to just see like our progression of everything.
Well, I just remember a year ago, like there was multiple times where you were like, I just want to do like motivate, like I'll never forget that I wrote motivational speaking up on that chalkboard wall, and like that's just what I want to be doing. And I just remember having that conversation of you wanting to do it, but also feeling like because you weren't a therapist, you couldn't do it, you know, or maybe it would, you know, wouldn't work or wouldn't be what you wanted exactly or whatever. And what's so funny is I said to you something that you said to me a few months ago, but I said to you, like, well, you know, if you had someone like you now, 5 years ago, like, would that have been valuable? Like, would that have been helpful? And you were like, well, yeah. And I'm like, then you can be that person. And then like the same thing happened a few months ago where you basically said the same thing to me. Like, you're a couple steps ahead of the people that you want to help. So why not just go do it? Like, you know what you're talking about. And I guess I bring that up because I think it's just interesting how we forget what we know, you know?
Yeah.
And having a community and having people that you trust and, you know, that you can rely on and support you and you support, like, it's just so valuable. And that's literally part of the reason why I'm joining Abby's group is to build more of that community, because community is everything. Like, you know, the connection that comes with that is just priceless.
Right. And a lot of that, so much of that, especially for our businesses, can come from retreats.
Yeah. Yeah. Retreats. I mean, that's where you know, it all started for me last year at Founded and Funded. And, you know, I really figured out what I wanted. And then Britt and I met because of that connection. And then you went to the retreat. And now, you know, you, Abby, you're doing such amazing things. And I see you and I'm so proud of like how far you've come. And I still also remember when you first started doing reels, like, and I love you so much for it, but I still remember you texting me and like asking, like, is this good? Does this sound good? I'm like, girl, you got this. Like, just like write what's on your heart and the people will come, and they sure have. Like, you have built that community.
Do you guys
thank you.
Like listening, like that intuition? I feel like in the last, like, I feel like for me, like the last like 5 years, I feel like almost like building that bone, like that strength of like learning to trust my intuition and like and trust those universal like nudges. While they might not always make sense, there's a reason why they happen. There's a reason why they're on your heart, and like to just dive into them. Because I look back and reflect on, like, if I were to reflect back from like the beginning of my journey, like my big time healing journey when I filed for divorce in 2019, like that for me was like the scariest thing. Like that was like jumping into the unknown. Like that was like taking potted plant, like living out of. Do you guys Harry Potter fans?
Yeah, I think that.
Like, do you know shrieking, like in Harry Potter where those shrieking plants like come out and they're like,
yeah.
Like, that was like me when I decided to like file for divorce. But like, and then I look and I'm like, damn, like had I not like trusted my gut and like gone against everything that like I've ever thought or known and just leaned into this unknown when I had no idea where it was going to take me, what was going to happen. Like if I hadn't done that, I would not be living like this life that like I'm so proud of right now and that I love so much. And in turn, I love myself because I listened to that.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we can't grow unless we are uncomfortable. And that uncomfortableness brings a lot of power. It's if we're just, that's what's great about community or retreat, is getting us into that uncomfortable space and being around people who are like-minded so that we can have the opportunity to grow. Because if we don't, we usually stay stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're in that stagnant, stuck space. And, you know, I think so many of us have dreams. Like, I don't know of a single person, if I said, like, what's one of the biggest dreams on your heart? Like, someone would say something pretty magnificent. You know, most people have an idea of something that they would want, but you can't go after any of that if you're just always in your comfort zone. Like, you have to do things that make you uncomfortable, whether that's, you know, investing in yourself with a retreat or going to therapy or doing group coaching or a group program or whatever, you know, but all the growth is definitely outside of that comfort zone. You have to push yourself to grow.
So Abigail, I've seen you post like a lot, like since we're on the subject of like community and stuff, like I've seen you post a lot about, you know, these groups and stuff like that. So if we have anybody joining that is like needing community, can you explain a little bit about like what that looks like, what they can expect and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot. So we go over, you know, in my groups, we're kind of all at different stages, right? So when we come in, I think there's that, again, that uncomfortableness of like not knowing what you're getting into. And you come in and you also are hearing like language that you're not used to either. And so you kind of feel like you're having to catch up because once we're able to get language, though, it really connects us too, is when you're able to understand when I even say the shame shadows. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're like, what the fuck is she even saying? Like, but if you can understand how they play a role in our lives and how they're constantly showing up, and how even maybe like right now, you know what I mean, it could show up for me if I have my politician shadow coming up, which is like this mask of needing to earn points from you to accept me. Which it's not. I'm just saying. Yeah. Like,
it could be.
That's one of the shame. Yeah, it's one of the shame shadows that come up. So, but these shame shadows come up because we have attachment wounds, and we all have them. Okay, so we have 6 attachment wounds, and if you say you don't have an attachment wound, well, you're either a sociopath or you admit you have shame. Like, that's it. Like, we all have shame, and so, but we can't have. Shame is going to stay where it is unless we bring it into the light. And that's what these communities do, is we are able to have a safe place to talk about our shame and uncover them, so that way we can have community and rewrite our stories on our heart.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
I love it. Yeah. I know, it's so powerful. Are you guys there?
So are these like people that, like, are these people that are in these, I guess it's people that are like all over the map, right? Which is kind of the beauty of social media. You're able to connect with people all over the map. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we do Zoom right now. I have 2. I have one on Tuesday mornings and one on Thursday evenings. And the goal is to have about 7 a group, just because it can, obviously I want time for people to be able to speak and connect. And then as I get those full, then I'll add more. So
how many spaces do you have in those right now? How many open spaces?
So on Tuesday morning, I have 1 space, which again, once that's filled, that's great, and we can add another morning one. And then Thursday, I currently have 2 or 3 spaces open on Thursday evenings.
Nice.
So,
and is this something that's a paid for service, or this is a free service?
Yeah, so it is pay, like you do pay to come. So it's $50 a week and cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
Which therapy is great. Go to therapy too if you need therapy. But also, what I was going to say was something and it went away from me. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, so $50 a week. And it's on Zoom. So it's once a week on Zoom was what I was going to say. So I give homework and then we pretty much process in group. Like it's more like doing the homework, processing. And I do a little bit of teaching, but it's really just being able to process through that yourself during the week and going over it the next week.
So who would you say is like, if anybody that's watching now or watching the replay, like who do you think is like the ideal woman for this? Like where, like, is it somebody that's ready to completely like heal? Like, what would you say is like the...
Like I said, we all have shame. So anyone who has shame. So a woman with shame, like we have it really does play in any instance of our life. Like I said, in just the smallest ways of even showing up in a live, or what I said about me texting Hanna about being afraid to do reels. So, you know, it plays a role. And the thing is about group, and this is what's so special about retreats or a group setting, is that when someone else is processing, it's not like I'm not just listening. I'm also processing and healing. And that's what's so beautiful about groups, is that when you're in that space, whether you're the processing one or the one listening, you're still processing.
And you also realize that like you're not alone. Like I remember sitting like my founded and funded retreat, and like, you know, we as women so easily can be like, you know, the first one that comes to mind, like body image, right? Like we, you know, we can think like, oh, you know, she doesn't have body image issues because she's got it all together, she's thin or whatever, etc. And then like you sit in a room and you're like, damn, like actually she can relate to me, she can relate to me. Like, and it makes you feel a little less like alone. And I think that's like that's just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that about body image, because that's literally what we're all working on my Tuesday morning group right now is body image.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, like, do you feel like a lot of so body image is one of the things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, anybody that's listening now or on the replay, if that is something that you deal with, or you have shame in, or you're just ready, you're sick and tired of dealing with that, then hit up Abigail, get into her group.
I think that sorry. Were you gonna?
I was just kind of ask a closing question, but what were you gonna say first?
I was just gonna say the thing is a lot of people I don't think understand the difference between what shame and guilt is as well. Yeah. And so I think when we have a better understanding of that, we can kind of understand more of what we need, right? So guilt is, you know, I made a mistake. It's behavior that happened that I could correct. And shame is like our identity. So shame is like something is wrong with me, or I'm defective, or I can't trust people to show up for me. Like they're big identity pieces of what shame is. So I think that helps us understand that when we're able to call that out, because if I think it's me and I'm alone, then it's hard to get out of that cycle.
Yeah. So my final question before I have to go get Amberly is, what is something that you would say to someone who's like on the fence? Like, it sounds like they want it, but maybe they're really scared, or of the vulnerability, or of the commitment, or of the money, or whatever's holding them back.
I mean, I say invest in yourself and lean into it. You know, I think that, again, if we stay stagnant, we can't grow. And I think that's a matter of, we have these numbing and denial behaviors to try to protect ourselves, but usually they're just hurting us. They're not really protecting us. They're the beliefs that we're thinking are protecting us, but they're not. So I say that if you've been on the fence about going to Britt and Hannah's retreat, get curious about it and reach out and ask questions. And if you're wanting to join a group, whether it's mine or someone else, again, get curious and ask questions and see it. Is it something that I really don't want to do, or is it something that I'm trying to protect these old beliefs that I don't want to do?
Yeah, that's such a great question. That's such a great way to check in and
I love
see
that.
what your like what the speed bump is, or what the hiccup is, like at the core. So
and I know that.
Oh, so go ahead.
I was just going to say that, like, obviously, you know, getting to know Britt and knowing Hanna, like, I know how much you guys care and how much you guys have to offer. So I say that if anybody's been on the fence, like, do it. They got you.
Thank you. So,
absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Where can people find you?
Yeah. So my podcast is Judgment Free Zone, and I'm on a lot of the platforms there, Spotify, Apple, Anchor. My Instagram is Abigail Luvisi, and I'm sure there's like a link or something on here that you guys can click on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my website is abigailluvisi.com. So yeah.
Easy.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course.
I love this. This was great.
Yeah, it was. Appreciate you all so much.
And then anybody that's watching the replay or tuning in now, if you have any questions about getting more curious about investing in yourself, or I don't know, if there's any way that any one of us can help us, DM us, leave a comment. You know, we're here to help empower one another. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Alrighty.
Awesome. Well,
thanks,
love you both,
ladies.
and I will talk to you. We'll talk to you all later.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, friends, for listening in. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. If you'd like to be more involved in our community, hop over to Instagram and find me at Abigail Luvisi. Keep showing up. I will too. See you next time.